evening, Mallory.
Good morning, Sam.
Welcome back to Nobody Leaves, the podcast where we force each other to watch, art, cinema, stuff.
Just beautiful paintings and engage in the philosophy and the deep underlying theses behind these well-beloved series. What's really going on? What is the truth and the darker side of all that has been seen? This is what we want to explore.
We're peering into the black pit of the soul this week with Madoka Magica, Movie 3, Rebellion, just in time for Movie 4, Rising, which is now delayed, and so the timing of this now makes no sense at all. So, there you go.
Yeah, no, very interesting updates. We keep thinking this movie's going to come out. Apparently it's not. Seems a little close to the release date to be bumping around this much. Who knows what's happening? I thought Madoka was finished, and I thought this was the end. But apparently it's not.
Nope.
Madoka Magica Rebellion. Far from... the fight is far from finished.
Akira Homura will return in Avengers Doomsday, Rising. I gotta be honest, the German's really a struggle. I often struggle with, Japanese names. Boy, German, it's a whole nother level.
It's tough. There's some extra consonants in there. One thing, Japanese, as a freaking expert, Japanese has less sounds in general. There's there's one sound which is D, which is between L and R kind of, but it's it's not that hard for English tongues to figure out. I feel like you start going deeper into Europe and the just start getting fucking they're everywhere. You try to get a Russian.
It's the
Whumpersnatch.
It's the Whumpersnatch. And it's Rising. And it's not featured in this movie at all. So what was it about to begin with? What is it like? Because that's the witch that Homura is trying to stop at the end of the show. And it's not in the movie. So I don't, what? I'm confused, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Mallory, you've seen Rebellion before, right?
One time.
Okay. I have also seen it one time prior, and I always remembered it as better than the original series. That opinion has maybe changed a little bit. Rebellion's cool, it's a very cool follow-up, but it's also kind of like a bottle episode, and a lot does not happen for a very long time. Kyubey does not speak in this movie until the hour 12 mark of a 90-minute movie. And I was like, wow, they really hold back that twist for a long time of what's actually going on. But it's very fun to watch a second time and have context for Homura and Kyoko driving buses out of town and getting stuck in a time loop, not time loop, but an infinite out of bounds zone. It feels very video gamey. But so some scenes that I was definitely sitting in the theater at 16 being what's happening, make a little bit more sense. And then some scenes still don't really make sense to me, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think my take on this movie, I always was kind of I don't know about this in terms of I felt the original Madoka series is such a, open, shut, perfectly constructed little narrative time loop. All the characters
it's a neat little hair bow,
Yes, and I really appreciate stuff like that. I really appreciate the character weights being appropriately done, everyone kind of getting their moment and narrative significance, and the way that it's it's constantly moving. You're never having a moment where you really feel oh my god, this character's still doing this. It's no, they're growing and developing, and each scene's building on each other. Such a tight narrative for them to make any kind of sequel. I'm immediately kind of ew. And then I remember the conclusion of this being oh, okay. I guess
I think I know what's happening, but
it's kind of adding something to the dialogue that happened in the original series. And I do think like the best that this movie does is like cast kind of a different light on how things are presented in the finale, which is like, you know, the ending of Madoka, as sad as it is like very like positive and Madoka achieves
It's
enlightenment type of thing, you
melancholy
know?
but
Yeah.
hopeful, right? Like it's like things are gonna be
Yes.
okay, and then things
Hmm.
are very much not okay. Um,
Yeah.
I guess the Madoka does the same thing where like the final like 15 seconds are like, oh, this Homura seems to be like in the apocalypse or something. Like I don't know what wraiths are, but there's still things to fight, and that might be a
Mm.
problem later. And Kyubey is still hanging around. That's probably bad. So I guess this is like an appropriate follow up, but it's still very. It's different. It's weird. It is somehow even more abstract than the original series, which makes sense because it's all within the mind of one character who has,
Mm.
I would say, a deep need to go to therapy.
Yeah, I think that's like I think watching it it's just like, okay, it's a dream the whole time. It's
Hmm.
real like slow paced. There's a lot of really beautiful visuals, but
Hmm.
there's a lot of visuals that feel like they're leaning into wallpaper territory more than they are like in service of like being in a movie that you're trying to follow.
There's a lot
And
of
then
spectacle.
there's a lot of philosophical debating, which I just think like you can do, and it's the Shaft staple, but it's just kind of I don't know. It's a little grating to me sometimes. I think I'm kind of I don't know. I think being in like high school and college versus like being like 29, I'm just kind of
Hmm.
like, well, yeah, I guess that's deep. I don't know. Like I feel like you guys are just kind of like a little bit in love with like you know, the sound of your own voice sometimes. That's sometimes my feeling on it. I don't know.
Well,
I
I
don't want to
think
completely shoot it in the legs before it gets a chance to take off, but
I think a another differentiator. That's not the right way to say that. Another
different no,
words are hard.
different
It's German.
different.
Another another thing that makes this different than the original series is that in the original series, you're you're getting so much information about like the nuts and bolts of how the whole system works. You're getting the philosophical debates and arguments, and you're getting the interesting visuals that you've never seen before, and they're all happening at
Mm.
once. In
Mm.
Rebellion, the most like fantastical sequences are very disconnected from the like internal Homura crash out that we're watching in slow motion because like while I really like it, the mommy Homura fight doesn't have much going on. The like plot wise, the initial like 40 minutes of the crew going through and fighting nightmares is visually very cool, and you know it's got like a Yoshi's Yarn World like aesthetic to it now where everything's felt.
Yes.
There's a poll for
That's my
you.
favorite
Shout
visual
out to the
part.
Wii U. That's your favorite part.
Or I probably yes, but visually 100% yes. Like that is my
Right,
favorite part
but it's
just
also
to look at.
it's where the least like plot is happening or philosophical debate, right? Like when it
Mhm.
comes to like Homura's internal struggle and whether like the relationship between despair and love and what had like all that's usually happening when Homura is just like wandering in a field or like talking to
Mhm.
Sayaka or talking to
Yeah.
Madoka or Kyubey. Like they crank down the or they crank up the abstraction meter and crank down the like spectacle meter somehow. Like the sequence where Homura turns
Mhm.
into a witch is very cool. Don't get me wrong,
Right.
but it's very long, and there's still a lot of like just chatting and kind of rehashing what happened in the first series. Um,
Mhm.
and then the stuff in the first 40 minutes, while very, very visually cool, it's just a lot of fighting. And it's like, do we
Yeah.
really need 5 magical girl transformations at once, and then a cake wrap, and then a Amami Homura fight. The Mamoru Homi fight, still amazing. That was my takeaway at 16, was like, wow, that was really cool with the time stop and the bullets. And it's really pretty, and like the color shift happens, and like everything's blue when it's time stopped, and everything like they're like sitting there with all the bullet trails, and they're doing the Spike Spiegel vicious, like pointing guns at each other, and then the time starts back up and everything hits itself like that. Pretty cool. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily as airtight as the series.
Yeah. I think that, like, okay, so here's how I feel. There's fan service in this show, not in the way of, like, sex, because this show isn't completely desexualized and there's nothing sexual in it. So don't even worry about that part.
Don't even worry about it. That would be weird. That'd be a weird thing to do. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, that would be a weird thing to kind of fixate on with the camera. Like, just like the first, like, mom would just go boing, like, and it's like fucking, it's like, okay.
That did. I remember saying this a few weeks ago when we did the series. I'm like, I feel like I remember the movie like ramping some of this up. It does. It does in ways I don't like.
The towels scene where she's taking off the towel is really, the fact that there's a towel scene, like, that, I mean, and the it's like, come on.
Yeah. Come on.
Like, I don't know. I think that there's fan service in the sense that I think that, like, coming into it and like watching it, I was like, okay, there is something, like, when you're making a sequel to a show that's airtight, it's like, it's fun and nice to have something on the table that's like, oh, like, this is something that, like, fans really want that straight up wasn't shown in the original series, which is like the 5 of them fighting together as magical girls.
Right. That's exactly what it is. It's like, it's because every scene was like serving a purpose and moving the plot forward. You got very little of like successful witch hunts. Like, it's like you have like the first one that's explaining how witches happen and what the deal is, and then from that point forward, you know, people are getting their heads bit off and things are going poorly.
Yeah, and it's like teasing you, like, they never are, like, the intro is like Sayaka and Madoka, like, don't have any like magical girl abilities, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like
Madoka never gets to fight anybody, right? Because she doesn't make her choice until the final episode. You see it a little bit in Homura's various timelines, but like you don't get the like squad doing their Power Ranger thing, and you really get it in this movie. You get like all the soul gems lined up, and you get all the costumes and the transformations, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's like teasing you with that the entire time. It's like you kind of like want to instinctively. I mean, I'm curious because like I'm someone who is like, I don't know how to describe this, but this is like probably one of the strongest feelings at the core of my, like, if you had to like strip away like all the like stack of like things that I am made of, if you were to like take them off one by one.
The Power Rangers, is that what you're gonna say?
The core thing is like my desire to see the Power Rangers. It's the desire to see multicolored individuals with superpowers, like, and they each have a different specialty and they each have a different color, and they're a team and they fight together, and it doesn't matter what context, whether it's Power Rangers, whether it's people in jumpsuits fighting in the zombie apocalypse. Whenever I see it, I freaking smile. And I think so. For me, that desire is so strong throughout Madoka Magica in a way that it's like toying with the audience's desire to see that and never giving it to you.
the normal magical girl anime that you want, or the like the happy like Sailor Moon, we're all gonna fight a generic monster of the week like moment. It's all despair from the very beginning, basically.
Yeah, and it becomes central to like Madoka's despair is that that's not happening, and like that desire becomes a metaphor for her desire to like save the whole world or whatever, right?
The first half of this movie feels like fan fiction because it is. It's a character's fan fiction.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it, for me at least, I do like it, and I like that is the part of the movie I'm enjoying myself the most in, because I'm like, okay, like, even though I know obviously this is gonna crumble and stuff, it's like, oh, I do just kind of like seeing them do weird stuff, and also that they're still weird, like they're still like, we have to sing this strange baby song about different fruits going into a cake or whatever, and cheese.
Yeah,
And
defeating
it's
nightmares compared to defeating witches and labyrinths, it seems very convoluted and confusing. Like, I don't know. They never explain it because it's kind of like papered on because it's not a real thing, right? Like, it's
it
all
doesn't matter.
Homura's
Yeah.
illusion. So it's just like, oh, we have to sing a song, and then Bebe eats the nightmare, and then everything goes back to normal, and Hitomi is decapitated briefly, and that was a really
Yeah.
cool visual, but
Really
it's all
cute.
yeah.
It's really blobby. I
She's like
think.
crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's like her tears are like her face and they're coming off. It's like
Yeah.
really it's an interesting blob. But yeah, I think that that is fun. I
It is
personally
fun.
think like here's my big thesis. This was like my
Hmm.
reaction of like what I feel like if I was making this movie, what I would want to do is I think that like Madoka original series is like playing with your expectations of like magical girls, Power Rangers, like
Hmm.
whatever, and it's using it in a very interesting way. This movie is like it's fun magical girls for the beginning, and then like Homer starts scraping at the corners of her world, and then it becomes like weird philosophical conversation over a bunch of like abstract imagery for like the
Hmm.
last half. I really wish it was more like grounded in the characters like running around and solving magical girl things, and Homura like not being able to have fun and being like the like the one person that can't be like satisfied in this world or whatever, because that to me is like very interesting, like the
There's a lot
fact
of
that
tension in
she
those
yeah
two scenes, right? Of like her at the tea party, like side eyeing Bebe,
mm,
and her like watching it, having knowing what's happening. Like you see, like her picking up on the cracks really quickly, and it's
mm,
very menacing. Like all the school children in their classroom having like the weird like flowery
pizza face.
face. Yeah, or pizza. It does look like pizza.
It just look like pepperonis to me. But yeah, no, exactly. I like that, and I think that I feel like if it had been all of the five girls together, and maybe she had like been maybe a little dumber, because she just immediately
Hmm.
jumps to the most like extreme, like okay, I have to kill Bebe right now immediately, and then
Right.
like is it in a death battle with mommy and is about to shoot her leg open, which is the literally when that was happening, I was like, it can't be Chad. What the fuck are you doing? That was crazy.
But that's the true
Um,
Homura. Like Homura has always
yeah,
been like, or at least at the Homura we know, who's been through many many
right.
different timelines, has always been like a character of extremes, and
Mm,
like her pretending to commit suicide and then shooting through her own skull to shoot the hair is incredible. Like it is like just as
no,
a
it
bit of
is.
choreography and character writing is like awesome because it
I do
plays with
like it.
her like she's her imagery is always associated with like despair, right? Like she's always wearing like a funeral costume
Mm,
or pulling out the gat and wanting to shoot other people or herself. Um and so when she's pointing the gun at mommy's head, you're like, that she might do this, and then slowly lowers it, like not yet. Like,
the fact that she puts an arm on her other arm as if she's like
yep.
fighting between, like she's like, I'm half of me wants to do this. It's like, yeah. See, I like that too. I kind of my perfect version of this movie is almost that's like an act 3 thing almost. Like I
Hmm.
really like that. I wish that it was almost like a build. I mean, yeah, like maybe it is less sincere to her character to show her being like more deluded, but like I just feel like all like I just feel like if more of these philosophical conversations were happening in like arguments with like five people in the room, I would just be more, or like three at least at a time. I
Hmm.
just feel like I would be a little bit more engaged, because you like what
there's
ends
a
up
there's a
happening is
large
like,
middle chunk of this
yeah,
movie where it's Homura on her own, or even
mm,
more critically, Homura with one other character who
yes,
she doesn't know what their deal is, and the audience doesn't know what their deal is. Like when she's talking to Sayaka, even knowing the twist, like knowing that they're in Homura's soul gym the whole time, I'm sitting there going like, I don't remember, is Sayaka projection, or is she, like, what is her deal, and what does she know? Like, it's so abstract that it feels like we're talking with, like, fake NPC versions of even the main girls. And that ends up not being the case, but on a first time watch, you don't know what's going on, and it's, like, hard to pay attention to these conversations. And on a second time watch, it's still a little removed, where it's like, I'm talking to, like, a fake... I'm talking to, like... It's, you know how Evangelion, like, the rebuilds, like, the characters kind of become flatter, and they kind of become, like... We gave Asuka an eye patch, and Rey's gonna die, like, 600 times, and we're just gonna take, like, the ideas of these characters and just, like, really flatten them out. Like,
no, not Ray 18, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't kill Ray 18.
Exactly. And then,
I really
like
this one.
Masato's boyfriend, Kaiji? Help me out here. I cannot believe I can't remember this right now. Kaji. Like, Kaji's not just gonna, like, go and get killed in, like, an air vent. He's gonna, like, fly a jet plane to save the day. Like, everything becomes a little stupider and simplified.
Yeah.
These characters feel like the versions of that. Like, Kyoko is so flat and is so one note, and it's like, she's just a feisty girl who eats stuff. And I like that she's the that Homura goes to her first, because she's like, you're the most unusual, like, you're the most fan fiction of this. Like, why are you being friendly with us? You were more of a jackass in real life. Love her. But it takes the edge off of that character. It's kind of sad. And, like, she's there to, like, dance with Sayaka, and it is very pretty when Sayaka's like, well, I wanted to come back for you too. That's why I took this magical girl assignment from the whatever, like, beyond the universe that I go to when Madoka saves me. But at the same time, it's like, Kyoko is kind of a dumb, like, not himbo version of herself, but I don't know what else you'd call it. Like,
no, I think that, like, okay, like, I like the ship a lot. I'm more into it than, like, Madoka Homura, even though that one's, like, very obvious and big. But, like, I think that, yeah, and it, like, there's stuff that, like, on the face of it structurally I do like, which is, like, the kind of, like, order being flipped of, like, Sayaka is, like, a second act character in the anime in a way that she's like, no, she's the first one that you go to in this, and, like, Mami, like, being the antagonistic
it's around the whole time.
Yeah, and, like, Sayaka starts to feel like she's kind of taking the Kyoko spot and being, like, more antagonistic to Homura. But yeah, I think it's, like, the one-on-one, like, so many of, like, the great things that were happening in, like, Madoka, like, Sayaka and Kyoko's farts, like, arguments were always having, like, at least Madoka there, and usually, like, Homura or Kyubey would pop in, like, when Mami was, like, having whatever, like, you know, you'd have Kyubey and Homura as well, and Sayaka, and, like, you're always getting, like, multiple opinions, like, really bouncing and pingponging off of each other, a lot bigger. When you're following one protagonist, which is Homura, and then you're just meeting all these different characters in different contexts, like Mami and then Sayaka, like, one-on-one, like, it just really feels like they're just sitting there, like, explaining, like, this aspect of philosophy or this aspect of the plot, or, like, this, like, just at you, as opposed to it being a conversation, and you're, like, when you, like, rather than have a show or a series, like, tell you, like, here's a different idea, have you thought about this? It's like, oh, there's just kind of, like, this maelstrom of ideas, and you could fall anywhere in the middle, or, like, glean some sort of new meaning from this, like, argument, I guess. I don't know.
But also, the ideas presented until the very end are kind of rehashing ideas we've already covered in the series. Like, what does it mean to self-sacrifice? And was Madoka's choice, like, cruel to Homura? Because, like, what does it mean to be the only person who remembers this other person? Like, what is, like, the pressure of memory? And what is the selfishness of self-sacrifice? Like, we've been down this road before.
Right.
I will say, to the movie's credit, on a first watch, it does a really good job of just, like, throwing you in there with no context, and that working to the movie's benefit, because like if you chart out what a first-time viewer might think, and then what I vaguely remember of how I felt about it when I saw this movie a decade ago, it's like, oh, okay, obviously we must be in the world that Madoka created at the end of the show.
Right.
Wait a minute. Why is Mommy here? Why is Bebe here? Okay, I'm going to follow Hamura's logic. This must be a city-sized labyrinth. That makes sense, I guess. I mean, I don't know why witches are around, but I guess that makes sense. Oh, no, we're in Homura's labyrinth. Well, not exactly. We're also in a unbroken egg of, like, the real answer is that we're not in a labyrinth. We're in, like, a pre-labyrinth state, like, embryo state, as Homura is, like, in the isolation field with Kyubey. And I think that's a really cool plot device. Like, I think that, like, bringing Kyubey back into the fold is interesting, because they're always going to be kind of the final villain of the show is, like, Entropy and this alien race that's, like, toying with these characters. And it does raise the stakes a lot, because it's like, how do you have stakes when one of your characters is a god? Oh, they're going to try and, like, identify the god and take her powers, or eventually, like, subsume her. That's neat. And watching on the first time and not knowing for a long time, like, what the deal is, that's a huge reveal. On a second walkthrough, it's like, well, I already know that what's going on. And so it's a lot of characters being smarter than they should be and also dumber than they should be. And it's all very abstract and kind of annoying.
Yeah. I gotta say, Kyubey really got my goat this watch. I was really annoyed at him. I was like, I think it's like this. I was really keyed into the speaking pattern, because he says ma a lot, which is like, it's like, I don't know how to explain it exactly, but it's like, I feel like people say it before they're about to mansplain something to you or just try to sound really smart. I have a student who is like 8 years old probably, and he's always kind of talking like, well, actually, like, like he's always trying to seem like really cool and badass. It's really cute when he does it because he's a child, but like
right.
when I'm like, okay, adult writers wrote these lines and I'm hearing it being voiced by like this just it's just, there's a lot of condescension, and it just sounds like Sayaka sounds so condescending, and Kyubey sounds so condescending, and like everyone's just always talking down to you, and it's like, I feel like I'm supposed to react to it like, wow, this character's so smart, and it instead makes me be like, whatever. It just kind of, it got a little bit like, all right, man, like, oh, did you actually, like, well, of course.
It's just not
like,
as well paced as the show, I guess. Like, it's not weaving spectacle in with philosophy in the same way. Not to say that Madoka, the original show, doesn't, like, have 20-minute conversations where there's just a bunch of, like, Shaft, Monogatari-esque, like, shit going on in the background. Like, Sayaka and Kyoko have their heart-to-heart, and Homura and Madoka, and Madoka and Kyubey. But we're learning so much in those. Well, in this movie, we don't learn anything until the last 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the problem. They dance around the question for a long time, and Homura's wrong for a lot of it. But but by the time we get to the twist, we've talked about it so much that it's like, oh, okay, that's like half already kind of what I figured. Like,
yeah, you kind of got to pull the trigger on the twist to then, like,
Mallory, it's not a labyrinth. It's a half labyrinth. It's like, oh, okay, like, whatever.
It's not a labyrinth. It's kind of a labyrinth.
Exactly. That's kind of how it feels. Now, I do think the plot point of, like, oh, Madoka is in danger. You thought Madoka was, like, safe forever. She's not. Is a cool, like, aspect. Like, I like, as a sci-fi concept, it makes the incubators very scary. That they've already, despite having, like, their memories wiped and the whole universe reset, have already devised a way to get back to the horrible situation everyone was in the first series. Like, that is a very cool idea to, like, roll around in your head, and it comes an hour and 20 minutes into this hour 50 movie or whatever. Like, I'm getting the timetable a little wrong, but it's not that much.
No, it's like I think that I like that aspect because I think it's a little bit more like the worst thing to me is like being in the original Madoka series and being like, well, they kind of had a point. It's like I don't know, like they're clearly like this status quo, and they're just like, well, we can't do anything about the status quo. I think they're just so. And I feel like I was kind of touching this like when we talked about like the original series, but it's like they're so like transparently manipulative, especially if you've already seen the series. It's like no, they're being very intentional with like the way that they lie, and like they don't
the lie of
feel
omission is like the dial's cranked to 11. Like we're gonna every statement is an omission.
Yeah, they're the fucking blurbs, but it's like every like they're also like they don't feel emotion, but they do clearly care about certain things. Like they do like, what are you doing, you idiot? Like that there's a lot more of that towards the end of this that I'm like, yeah, this is kind of like laying bare a little bit more that like, oh no, they prefer everyone to suffer for their like version of like that was their nice status quo. And I do also, if we have to like, and I'd like to introduce a segment which is the Gush Zone, sponsored by Gushers, Unleash the Unstoppable flavor inside.
I want to say, yeah, there's plenty to like about this movie, even though we've shat on it for 30 minutes. Like, we'll get there.
I think the thing that I'd like to gush about in the Gush Zone today is that the when they kill Cube a bunch at the end, and she says, there's a part where she's just like, "Shut up" to Cube.
I like it's what you want Homura to say like the whole show. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like the end where he's just like all raggedy and pathetic. It's like, yeah, get in the dirt, you stupid bitch. I hate Cube.
Gush Zone, sponsored by Gushers. Unleash the ultimate gush inside, whatever the fuck the category's called. Homura's voice actress continues to be like the absolute MVP of this entire series. Like she can be like a crying little girl, and she can be like this badass like nihilistic time wizard, and then there's a like little bits of Shinjigahara like creep in here and there, and I'm just like, yes. We're not going to do the Monogatari episode, but we're still kind of doing the Monogatari episode. Like, she is really good at being bad. And when she gets to be, like, kind of going crazy, like, psychopath demon at the end, it's pretty hype. Even though it's stupid, it's kind of hype as well.
Her, like, voice acting is so... Like, the way she cries, she does it in the original series as well, but she has this, like... way of talking and like
or Madoka,
like it's like
yeah.
Anyone else who would do is like ear piercing annoying. For her it's just like you're like, oh my god, like it really like gets your like heartstrings, like the way she is like so heartbroken about Madoka and like every scene.
She does that voice in Bake Monogatari. They make a joke about her being the same voice actress as Homura, and they give Shinjigahara like black hair for like one scene, and it's really weird. But like it is so different than other characters she's voiced, and it's so different than how the character is for so much of the series and movie. That yeah, when it creeps in, it's like it's pretty great.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. And I do personally like Madoka's just like constant breathy kind of like, don't worry, Homura, nothing will ever go. Like it just because it provides such a contrast.
Madoka's boring.
It just really fits. Like it makes.
I'm glad Madoka got put into the mind prison.
It makes her character though. It's just like every scene she's being like, "Well, I think everything will work out okay."
Right. It's like, shut up. You don't understand. Aliens are trying to like destroy my soul.
I miss when she was the protagonist. I think that's the other thing. It's like it's kind of Homer being the protagonist, because when Madoka's the protagonist, like when someone says a bunch of like crazy like. It's like, stop killing my family. It's like, well, actually, your family's just a collection of dust particles that like happen to like move in a certain shape.
The incubators are the ultimate like, oh, you can't. There's no ethical consumption under capitalism. You feel bad for starving children, but iPhone. It's like, shut up. Like, stop talking about iPhone. Like, stop talking about stepping on ants. I'm sick of it. Like, go away.
Truly, but like Madoka's a good protagonist to that, because when someone says that to her, she's just like, but what about Flappy Bird or something like that? Like she'll just be like, you know, and I'm like, okay, like this is like really grounding it for me in a way that Homer is just like, well, actually, and like trying to like argue with it. It's like,
I liked
okay,
Madoka
like, I
as a
don't want to
protagonist
listen to this
so
conversation.
I liked her so much more the second time around watching the series a few months ago.
Mm.
Like
Who, Homura?
you really feel no Madoka. Like
Oh,
I
Madoka,
was
yeah.
surprised how much more I picked up from her character as being like the character of inaction, or like this character that's been like infantilized by the
Mm.
series and by Homura, to where she's been manipulated into like this helpless position where Homura is constantly like preventing her from becoming a magical girl, so she's like a helpless bystander, and it's really tragic. Homura is definitely a character of action compared to Madoka being a character of inaction, but Homura's actions, like, she always is going to do the exact same thing, which is like, I'm going to betray my friends, and I have to eat the sin. I have to be the sin eater. You don't understand. And it's like, shut up, Homura. You're being too edgy. You're being too Shadow the Hedgehog right now.
Just
Even though
imagining like them like
in some moments it
standing in a.
works.
I'm just imagining them like standing in a field and like the slightest shadow like passing over something, and Hummer just like immediately like like just shooting some one of her friends like like it's just like so ready. I don't know. It's good. They work really well as a contrast, but yeah, it's like
Right.
it's a little tough to balance it. You know what? I think again, like I'm just arguing for why I should have been on the Star for this writing team, because I think that like having the reason I want her to be like more in like actively arguing with everyone and trying to like get them out of like happy-go-lucky, like the idea of like they're living in a perfect world and Homer can't be happy, I think is like good and fun and makes a lot of sense to her character.
Especially knowing
And
that's
like
her world that she made, right? Like, that's a whole
right,
other wrinkle to it.
yeah, no, like that I enjoyed the most. I was like, that's really like the fact that the thing that starts to unravel the thread is her inability to accept happiness in her perfect world.
Mm-hmm.
But like I feel like just the majority of the plot and these conversations and stuff happening with them like arguing as like peers and magical girls, and like the other four have like bought into the illusion and she's the only one who hasn't, like it's like because you need to counter her like I'm calculating everything and solving everything and I'm so freaking smart with like a little bit more just like, what the heck? Can we just go like go to do karaoke or like just I want to do
Why are
dumb
you
girl
shooting
shit, you know?
baby?
Yeah. Like stop being mean to baby. Baby's gonna cry. You need to apologize. Like, and her just being like, what the frick? Like, yeah, I want that.
Those moments,
like,
they're not
juxtaposition.
they're few and far between, but they're really intense and exciting when they happen, right? Like when Sayaka
Yeah.
first confronts Homura, and you realize that Sayaka knows a little more than she's letting on. It's like it's intriguing. Like, what's going on? But then they have like the same conversation Homura just had with Mommy a little bit. Now I like that Sayaka's like negging Homura, and she's like, "Oh, well, you would kill whoever made this nightmare like immediately? Like, that's interesting. What if the person who made the nightmare has more going on and you should sympathize with them?
Yeah.
What if," she doesn't say what if it was you, but she's like dancing around it so much, it's like, you might rethink this if you have more information. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I
thanks,
also do.
Sayaka.
I feel like we've been ganging up on that conversation because it is definitely one of the more like, okay, let's move on conversations.
It's visually.
But there's
Hey, I have here's
Visually
a visually cool, directed by Takeshi Koike. The use of reflections anytime Sayaka's around, and like all the moments where you see her like mermaid witch form like peeking out, really really cool. Like her
so sick.
in that alleyway, like splashing in the water, and at first it's like, oh, this is more magical girl abstraction bullshit, but then like you see like the ripples of the water and you see the mermaid form peeking out, and then it's like it's like a magician like revealing like a rabbit under a hat, like her cape like flutters away, and then you see the full form of the mermaid witch form, and then she disappears. Very cool. There's some visual flair in this movie for sure, obviously. Like that goes without saying.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think it is really cool. And like the other thing I like that happens in that conversation is that she is like defending witches and like
Mm-hmm.
being pro witch, which like her
Yes.
the thing that doomed her and made her become a witch was the ultimately like the realization that all magical girls are doomed to become witches. So like
Mm-hmm.
seeing her, it's like, oh, she's gone through the character growth and mature to the point that she's just like a different character, like in a
Right.
way that's really cool and satisfying. And I think like
Well, and she's
seeing
pointing
this
out that
more mature, yeah.
Homura doesn't understand Madoka's wish or her self-sacrifice. Like
Mm,
it's a character flaw that she doesn't think about the big picture. Like she's all about like me and the like two people I know. That's it. Whereas
mm,
Madoka rewrites the world for everybody and wants all magical girls to feel like happy. Like Homura's wish is I want to save Madoka. Madoka's wish is I want to save everybody, and that includes
mm.
all the magical girls that have like quote unquote failed and become witches.
Yeah, no, so it's cool to see her explain that. I think also, I think like this, I mean, I think because, I think we're not talking about it because it's been like accepted knowledge to us for so long, but like the whole, like this movie spends quite a bit on like, is his name Kyosuke and, Hitomi? Um,
Yes.
yeah, like the pairing and like how Sayaka is the one that like cradles Hitomi's nightmare and like
Mm-hmm.
saves her, and she's so completely and utterly moved on from it, and it's like no longer like wrecking her. Like that I think is like very satisfying to see, and it's like character growth and all this kind of stuff, and
All
now
the
she's
whole cast has grown as people, whereas Homura's like regressed.
yeah, which is fun. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've all become more mature rather than like in the original series. Like Homer's the only one that knows what's going on, and everyone else is like living in
Mm-hmm.
this time loop. Like, um, that is very fun, and I am glad that she had her hands free so that they could hold Kyoko's hand on the little skyscraper. I was like, when I was watching this, I thought that I imagined that scene, and
Nope.
and then I rewatched it, I was like, oh, I'm like, it's stupid and it's like queer baiting and whatever, but it's like, I'm still just like, man, I like that pairing. I don't know what it is.
I
They're
forgot
just good.
how I forgot how explicit Sayaka is about it,
Mm,
where she says like I chose to do this because I wanted to come back and see you because you got left behind in the shuffle, basically, of the original
yeah.
series. And it's like, oh, that's sad. That's
No,
very
it's
sweet.
it's really
Like, there's some
sweet.
star-crossed lovers going on here.
Yeah, and it's like there's the like, you see that I'm the one that understands you, because it's like when they're in the original series, she's so fixated on Kyosuke, and then she has like Kyoko right there, who is like
Hmm.
trying like giving up her whole like individualist be by myself philosophy because she wants to save Sayaka, and
Hmm.
Sayaka doesn't appreciate it to the point that she like dies, and then Kyoko dies trying to like save her,
Well,
defeat her or
Kyoko is
whatever.
also like so tsundere in the series
Mm,
until it's too late, until they all learn the
yeah.
secret, and they by the time they learn the secret, it's like, oh, this is like the ship has sailed.
No, definitely. So then it's like, yeah, seeing them get back together, it's like, it's good. Does it justify the whole movie? Yeah, the time will tell, but it's good to see. I like that.
Any other sequences you want to discuss, like chat about, gush about, maybe? Because I feel like we are beaten up on this movie. I think it's like a half step below the series, but it's not bad. Like, um,
I mean, I
is it
felt
bad?
pretty negative about it. I think
Really?
I'm talking about the stuff that I like. I think it's more just like I don't like things overstaying their welcome, and I don't
Hmm.
like I don't like when sequels feel like they're forcing stuff. I think something that's really colored, like I probably knew this and forgot it, but I like relearned this piece of information, was that the original ending of this movie was like Homura like ascending to heaven with like Madoka or whatever. Like she
Hmm.
becomes a witch, and it's like that was the story. And then like it was urged to be like,
Generabuchi said,
no.
"What if I make this darker? Like, what if I
Well,
keep
no,
this going?"
I think he wrote that ending, and then someone was like, "No, we need to have it end here so that we can do a sequel that won't come out
Hmm.
for 10 years." Um, so like,
Is there any
kind of leaves
is there
me
any hope of that movie being good? Like, is there like, especially with it being delayed? Like, 'cause I think it was delayed in like 2022 to now, and now it's been delayed for an unspecified amount of time. I feel like that movie's gonna probably be like a complete mess. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm like, part of me wants to believe that they're really trying to
Mm-hmm.
knock it out of the park. Because it's like, are they really like? What else? I mean, I guess that you'll get nostalgia fans for like a 10-year-old series at this point, but it just feels like don't make it at that point. So the fact that they've been making it for this long makes me feel like. But yeah, at the same time, I'm like, I bet fucking a long part of that 10 years was spent being like, what else are we going to make a movie about of this finished
Right.
story? You know, it's
It's
like,
also just throwing this out there. 15 years, but we did the Madoka episode like right at the 15-year mark on accident, and yeah, that hurts. That's some psychic damage for sure. I'm gonna turn into a
yeah.
witch.
Wow. Man, that's crazy. So yeah, I don't
Man,
know. I am
time
beating up on
sucks.
this movie.
Like, this is bullshit.
It is. It is. I am beating up on this movie a lot. It is visually stunning, and I do like the fan service as if it's magical girl stuff. I have something that I wanted to talk to you about, Sam, which is
Okay.
we kind of had this conversation at the top, and we've been not necessarily dancing around it. Like we've been we've been speaking as if we understand what happened in this movie, and I'd like to crack out my theory hat because it's time we what what happened.
This
What
is
is
the
this
most
movie about?
appropriate Mind Palace episode of all time because we spend 90% of the movie in the Mind Palace.
Literally, the Sherlock Holmes of anime girls. We are in the Mind Palace, so this is our segment, Mind Palace, explaining the theories, the details, the lore. I'm gonna take this hat off because I don't want to ruin my bows. But what
Okay,
what
there are two mysteries.
happened? Okay.
What does Homura actually do, and why
Yes.
does she do it?
Mm-hmm.
Why does she do it is more apparent to me than ever. Even if I think the line of like it's about love is still a little like forced and weird. Homura is crashing out because of the conversation she has with Madoka in the flower field, where memory wiped Madoka tells her, "I would hate to do a self-sacrifice because I'd miss my friends." And so Homura's like, wow, the thing that I'm already really upset about because of me personally missing my friend, now it's even more tragic because I know my friend would not want to do that. Like, Madoka would miss her mom and miss her family and miss her friends. So Homura does not want to accept the reality as it exists, where Madoka is God and she can't take the olive branch and just go with her to Magical Girl Heaven. I think that's pretty... That's a logical conclusion because if anything was left unsaid from the series, it's like, what does Madoka doing the self-sacrifice mentally do to Homura long term, right? Like, that's what this movie's trying to answer. Are we on the same page there?
Yeah, no, I think that part is a lot clearer, and it makes the most sense, the most emotional sense. It's the best argument this movie has for existing, is like, Homura still wants that. Homura's desire is for one person, Madoka's desire is for everybody, and it's like, it's further underscoring and underlying the tragedy that the end of the series does do a good job of like selling. Like, it's pretty like horrifying and sad that like the mom can only like vaguely remember her daughter, and like the little brother can only say like Madoka is like a Pokemon like repetition.
Madoka.
So Madoka. But like, I think that
it gets lost in like
that makes sense.
it gets lost in all like the pink rays of Madoka like saving like Viking magical girls and all that stuff, and Native American magical girls, and like going through time and like saving herself at the end of the universe. Like, it gets kind of lost in the not whimsy, but like the spectacle of it all.
And the optimism and the hope, because it is like, it's
Right.
a kind, selfless thing to do, and it's like, it's the end of her maturation arc and all this stuff, and it's like, it's bittersweet and hopeful, and this is being like, hey,
It's
here's all
not
the bitter
bittersweet.
parts.
Homura's bitter. Like, fuck you
Yeah.
and your self-sacrifice.
This
I'm angry.
pissed me off. Yeah, no. I think that's
and so
fair.
then,
And if you're gonna make another movie about Madoka, I think that was definitely the through line to fix on. I think, but yeah.
Okay. Second question: what does punished Snake Homura do? Like, what is Homura's actual action?
Yeah. So she separates a part of Madoka. She takes a little piece and she's like, "You're my little Madoka, and you're gonna stay immature because Madoka doesn't want to leave." And she said the same thing in the original series. She's like, "I don't want to abandon everybody. Like, I like my friends." And it's at the end of her maturation arc that she's like, "Oh, I want to do something selfless for everybody and leave people blind." And Homer's whole
her
thing
talking
is
with
like,
her mom on the staircase, the scene we gushed about last time we talked about this.
Right, and then like Homer's whole thing is like, no, I want to keep Madoka in a box. I want to infantilize her, as opposed to her mom, who like, even though it's hurtful, is happy to see that her daughter is growing and like respects her autonomy. I think that
Homer does not. Autonomy.
Homer.
Just, I'm gonna shoot autonomy in the chest instead of the leg. You know, that's Homer's MO.
Homer does not respect women. I then, like, so she takes off a little piece. It's really unclear what that does. I guess it's like
the universe.
Because I guess I was like reading things that it's like it puts it at risk because they could undo Madoka's thing and turn it back to the bad world that was in the original series because she's done
I've
that.
seen arguments that Homura doing this prevents that because she's trying to protect Madoka from Kyubey. I think what she's doing is mostly selfish and mostly for her internal getting what she wants out of it. But an argument you could make is that the incubators are not going to stop trying to take the magical god powers of Madoka. So by separating Madoka's humanity from the universe perpetual motion machine she's created, that can continue on in the background, and Madoka the person now lacks the power to be corrupted by the incubators. I guess, even though that doesn't work because you see Homer and her talking and Madoka's like, I feel like I used to be a god maybe, and the whole hallways turning into a bunch of supernovas and it all looks like an AI commercial. But then I think that's an interesting wrinkle. Here's the part I did not understand, and I've now done some reading and I like this theory and it makes sense to me.
Okay.
As to why Homura is able to do this. Homura's wish is to save Madoka. Homura believes that she has failed to do that because Madoka is sad that she misses her mom and family and friends, and also Madoka is under threat by the incubators still. So, in order for Homura's wish to be fulfilled, she has to become more powerful than Madoka, who is the most powerful being in the fucking, universe. So that's why Homura is now this, Elphaba, gothic witch at the end of the story, who can, appear with a tea set and, mess with Sayaka's mind. That, to me, makes sense.
I just got the image of Ariana Grande playing Madoka in a live-action movie, and she's pretending to be a middle schooler, and I think that would be really good. And I'm sad that will never exist. that would be the best thing ever. I would be seated. I think that... yeah, that makes a lot of sense the way you explained it. I think that I
think the movie does a poor job of making that clear, if that's correct.
Yeah.
But it does...
Is it giving the movie a lot of charity?
Well, they do... The thing that makes me believe it is that they do specifically, restate what Homura's original wish was as all the craziness is going on at the end of the movie. So I'm like, okay, maybe the movie is trying to say this. Maybe that is how we're supposed to interpret it. for a movie that talks so much, they really leave a lot open to interpretation at the end of the last 20 minutes. Like, they really kind of leave you behind as an audience.
That's why I'm always like, I'm sometimes sketchy with these philosophy things where I'm like, I really want to engage sincerely with them, and I care about it, and I like having these like high-minded discussions or whatever, but I'm so sometimes like wary of like, do you really have anything at all, or are you just kind of bullshitting me? Like, I have that kind of like suspicion that I like levy at these like kind of shows. I think that it's there. Like, I think the wish to save one person versus the wish to save everybody thing is there. It's interesting because Sayaka's is also like very similar to Homura's. Like, it was a wish to heal, but it was also like a wish about like saving or getting one person to be happy.
Well, also, and it's I think the show punishes Sayaka for that quite a bit, where like Sayaka is shown to be like short-sighted and tragic as a tragic figure, and is in some ways like a foil to Homura in that sense.
Right, and then she works again as a foil to Homura in this movie, because in this movie she has like now outpaced Homura, as opposed to previous being like a kind of like a more short-sighted version of her, where it's like she now
until Homura comes in with the ice pick and just like lobotomizes her too.
Right, exactly. But like, I think that like her whole thing of being like really happy that Kyosuke and Hitomi are together, not even happy, just like accepting of it, is
accepting. Right, they make a couple like cracks at like, oh, is this tough for you, Sayaka? And she's like, yeah, a little bit, but also I'm moving on.
Yeah, exactly. It's like she's come full circle about that kind of stuff in a way that Homura hasn't. So I don't know. That's like interesting. Like what this show as a dialogue is doing in general is about saving everyone versus saving one person. That makes sense to me. That I like the idea that you said of it's what she is doing is potentially good, which is protecting Madoka's humanity from the incubators, and the fact the fact that she was once like a human being, like that needing to be like guarded in some way, I guess.
But does she really have to make her? Does she have to make her like a small being that needs protecting? That feels very manipulative and sinister, Homura. Why is your mouth doing the like thin anime mouth evil person thing now? Like, what's
Homura,
going
where
on?
Your lips go? Where your teeth
Homura,
go?
why the camera only not showing your eyes anymore? You know, that seems kind of sinister.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Why is your soul gem like the darkest purple ever and like a weird like black birdcage now? Like, I mean, they were always like an egg in a birdcage or whatever, but it looks even more creepy now.
So did she trap? Did she trap everyone else in the gem as well, or are they just
when they made the like whatever they call it, like not incubation field, something like that. When they put Homura in the like mind palace to honeypot Madoka, she brought in elements from their world. So I think that like Madoka's family in that world is real. Hitomi and Kyosuke are real. Like they show them the teacher is real, because they show them like being brought out at the end.
Poor teacher. She did not have the reason why she can't find a husband is because she's been sucked into like a vortex,
a dream world. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's like Homura. All of that seems like a not conscious choice of Homura. In the ending, they're in the real world again, and it's just the universe that Homura's created. Like they're out of the soul gem.
Oh, right.
Because they crack the ceiling, and like you see Homura like wake up on this weird gothic like graveyard where she's been like kidnapped by the incubators. I guess it's where she finally had her like her big sook, and then decided to die to be saved by Madoka. But then the Kyubey people like put that on pause. We're out of the soul gem like by the end of the movie, and now we're in Homura's weird universe.
That's the detail.
Are we? Like, is it Inception?
I think that's where I was getting confused, because I was like, oh, she starts changing the laws of the universe, and then I forgot that like, oh, that becomes, because it's another like weird world where she has all this power. I was kind of like, oh, they're back in the Homura-controlled world, but no, that's not the case. They're in
They are in a Homura-controlled
the
world,
real...
but it's the world. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's makes more sense. But so then Sayaka's back to life and is losing her memories of being a cool witch that completed her character arc. Man.
Right. That's sad. That's like actually, I think, the most effective part of the final 20 minutes. Like even more than like her
Right.
conversation with Madoka, where it's like, oh, Madoka might one day rise up to try and fight me. Like that little scene, I feel so scared and sad for Sayaka because Sayaka's like aware that she's losing. She's like, my character progression, I'm watching it fade away. Like, what's going on? I used to be something. Like,
Yeah, no. I don't care about Kyosuke. Kyosuke.
Kyosuke.
Oh!
I care about Kyosuke. Yeah, exactly. Like because
Well, it seems
she's
like
talking with Hitomi and
yeah.
Kyosuke, and then she does like she's crying because she still remembers, and then she switches into like the cutesy, and that at first it seems like she's doing that for their benefit, but then maybe it's because she's losing her memories, and then she talks with Homura and she's like, "What's happening?" That's a good scene. That's some sauce. Like that's this movie's got some tricks to play.
No, certainly, yeah. No, it's not. It's not the worst movie ever. Okay. But Sam, I have a really important question for you that we haven't asked for a while in this podcast, and it's kind of really been like sucking the wind out of my wings for this podcast because
Let me hear
I
it.
feel like it's the only reason that we have it anymore. What would pirates do in this? Would a pirate?
I have an answer for you.
was...
I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to get to this before we rank it. I have a really good idea. So,
Okay.
final battle, right? It's more spectacle. It's more people saying things we already know that's happening, and it's kind of annoying. Homura's witch form looks cool. I will give it that.
Yes.
In that final battle, they have like Bebe and Sayaka like holding back the forces of Homura's despair or whatever, and they have like these like Homura's got a lot of like what's the witch in Alice in Wonderland? Like the Queen of Hearts.
Oh,
She has like a lot of
yeah.
like soldiers that are fighting, and they're fighting like Bebe's army and Sayaka's like water powers. What if Sayaka summoned like an army of like what if she's all water based, right? Like what if she had like pirate ships and like pirate nightmare creatures to fight in that battle?
Yeah.
Like wouldn't that be cool?
That would be cool.
That'd be an
That's
actual
awesome.
place to put pirates in. What's your dumbass idea?
Well, I think it would be good because if you did that, then Blackbeard would appear and he'd be like, "Women can never be captain of me," and Sayaka would be like, "Shut up, bitch!" And then it would actually.
What if Blackbeard
be
was a reflection of the guys she maybe murdered on that subway that one time? Like, what if he was like those guys?
What if she murdered the guy on the subway and he drops to the ground and we never see his face and we just see a bloodstained driver's license that says Edward Teach on it? That's okay. That's a good idea. Yeah, I don't have a better idea for pirates. I think yeah, like I was just gonna be like the idea of like they're sucking all these people like these important figures in Madoka's life into the Cell Gem, and there's like what is this crew of people who are like missing teeth and eyes and stuff doing? It's like, oh yeah, when Madoka was in America.
You know in Dawn where they take a little detour and they're like, oh, well, the kids in school are stressed out in music class, so we're going to fight like Bach for a moment in like yokai form. What if it was like, we were learning about piracy and then like that got twisted into the Soul Gem right around the time where Homura decided to like let her despair win, What
if Kyubey got... It was like Kyubey's like race, like their original feelings, and it's like their pirates because they're always trying to steal stuff from us humans. I think,
but they think of themselves as honorable. They think of themselves as Robin Hood-esque figures of taking from the rich in emotion magical girls and giving to the poor, hungry universe of entropy.
There you go. I just came up with a game theory that I actually sincerely think if they make it in the new movie, it would be good. Kyubey redemption arc where they give Kyubey's emotions back. That's basically
absolutely
the end
not.
of my thought. I think if Kyubey gets his emotions and stop having to be like so hungry for their emotions, maybe that's a good idea.
they gave Kyubey an out at the end of the series because the system Madoka created worked. Where, like, they now fight wraiths, and the wraiths turn into weird little, like, Pokeblocks that they throw into the back of Kyubey, and, like, entropy is solved. But that wasn't good enough for Kyubey, because they are greedy, and they are,
so what if
like,
we
evil.
solve Kyubey's childhood trauma that turned them into, like, a weird capitalist, and then they become, like, healed? What if that happens? If that happens in a new movie, I'm pretty smart. Just saying.
Well, so if Kyubey on the back foot at the end of this series, at the end of this movie, presumably because Homura is going to take more of the antagonistic role in Whippersnatch Rising. So
Whippersnatch Rising,
however the hell you say it. I do wonder what they're going to do with Kyubey. Like, that is an interesting idea, because seemingly Homura is now more powerful than Kyubey and can actually, like, beat him up, as opposed to him just being shot to death and reviving and eating himself. So who's to say? Things seem to be going badly for Kyubey, which I am okay with.
Yeah. Me too. It's like, because you get so tired of me, like, why are you being so silly and shooting me? It never does anything. Like, when she's finally hurting him, you're like, oh. Yeah. Like, get his ass.
It's satisfying. It's really good. I think more likely it's going to be like, I was actually never hurt. Like, and it's going to be really frustrating.
Yeah. It could be cool. It could be bad. We'll never know, because it's never coming out.
That seems to be the case. Who knows? I could eat these words and I'd be happy to do so. But that's a troubled... It's been a long time. Typically when it takes, 13 years to make a follow-up movie, that's a bad sign. It can work. You can have your, like, Mad Max Fury Roads and what have you, but they are rare.
Yes. No, for certain. Well, I want to rank this, even though I'm not
Mallory, what do you think of what's potentially the final Madoka thing?
To cap off my review of the Madoka franchise, it's certainly lower than the series, which I believe I put in Angel tier.
I believe so.
Is cute condescendingly is maybe too mean, because there was really cool yarn in it.
There was the Yoshi Woolly world of it all. You gotta consider that factor.
I do like yarn. What's the like Kingdom Hearts? And he's just like, I do like yarn. I feel like that would be really cool.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's like, I do know pain, or I do know suffering. Oh. He's like, what is my B tier called? Babe,
I don't know, dog. It's your tier list. It goes to Angel and then
Baby Girl.
Baby Girl.
Baby Girl. No, okay. See, the names of the tiers really help remind me of like what goes in each tier. I don't think this is Baby Girl in the sense that like Baby Girl, I just kind of want to dote on her a little bit, and I just don't feel. I feel put off
Rebellion,
by this movie quite a bit.
2 tiers below the series.
I honestly think so, because I think it's...
I don't hate it.
The things that I like in the series are lost in this sequel. Like, there's just the tightness and
sure, but Mallory, you gotta remember what the movie, like, brings to the table, right? Mommy and Homura shot guns at each other for a long time, and it was really cool looking. It reminds me of the final fight in Fate Zero, which you haven't seen, but it's a cool fight. They fight in, like, the Dark Knight room, and it's really cool. We'll get there one day.
I like how it creates like streaked lighting that like is in a very dark portrait. These people know how to use colors. They know how to make a series look pretty. They're also
creating like a stained glass window out of like gunfire. Yeah. It's hype as hell. That deserves S for that alone.
Yeah, but you know what the real S it gives me is the S for sleepy, because I get a little bit tired when they're talking about philosophy. So I'm going to put it in C, which is cute, parentheses, slightly condescendingly. It's good. It's fine. It could be a music video or wallpapers or GIFs or something. I don't know. That's my harsh takedown of the me
kind of a
being part of
bummer.
the Madoka critical. Yeah, I know. I'm being like very
No,
down on.
here's the
Madoka
thing.
this
I
year.
kind of agree with you though. I am more in favor of the original series than when I watched it 15 years ago. I didn't watch it when it came out. I watched it 13 years ago. But
Mm,
I think the original series is better than I remember. I think Rebellion is definitely worse than I remember.
mm.
I am kind of excited. I'm still in the mode of like I would like to see whatever the Whippersnapper Rising is,
I'm
but I
down
don't.
for the Snatch.
I'm
It's
down for the
interesting.
Whippersnatch. But Homer is a pumpkin. You know, we got to remember that. Um,
It is the one like kind of unanswered thing in the original series. So I mean that's
oh,
interesting
the
on its
witch.
own.
Like it is a
Yeah.
wrinkle. Like why was this one witch so much more powerful than all the others? And so
And why did it seemingly get stronger, like in response to Homer's wish to like undo it? And like I
mhm,
think something that this does, like the having Bebe's like magical original girl form be like shown
mhm.
is like really like highlighting like yeah these were all like people before they became witches. It's like
Right. Presumably,
maybe
we're gonna see
Snatch will be the new
the
yeah.
magical girl form of Whippersnatch. Will they be green? You know, that's a color they haven't used yet. We're getting to
Oh,
like, yeah.
can we put like chips on like what color the Snatch will be? There's not much. Green's a pretty good guess. I think you're
It's
sitting
not
pretty
my.
safe with
I have an
that.
actual guess.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be white because Homura's in so much in her
Yeah.
gothic era.
I was thinking white as well, just because it feels more.
You took
I
my
feel like they've
answer.
avoided green
Cool.
because they don't want to use green. I'm not gonna say
Hmm.
white though. That's your answer. I'm gonna say purple because that was the first answer that popped in my head. I
That's
don't know if it
Homura's
would look
original
good or
color.
cool. I guess, yeah, I guess that's kind of true. But what if she's purple with like a little
What if
bit
they're
of black, and
foils?
then Homer's black with a little bit of purple, and they're foils?
Yeah. What if the
What
inverse?
if they're
This reminds
shipped
me.
together?
So something you'll learn as I know you're making your
Yeah.
journey through Persona. Also, update, I have not started Dimension 20, so I'm really like the clock's ticking here. I had a whole weekend where it would have been great to start it, and I just didn't.
Could we?
Um,
This is. Can I just say I've actually been doing something. All right, so welcome to the back half of the podcast. We're just talking about.
yes,
So we have pitched each other
long
6 month
pitches.
long pitches. I
Hmm.
have to play Persona by June, and Sam has to watch 3 seasons of Dimension 20 by June. I've been like, I've been seeding little things and like references where I'm like, Sam will respond to this if he's been watching
Nope, haven't
Fantasy
started.
High at all.
Really, I thought about it this weekend. I was like, man, I really should have started that because I've just been like, I've been putting a lot of hours into Baldur's Gate, and this would be really easy to have on a monitor next to me. Just haven't
Yeah,
done
it's
it.
background listening.
Haven't done it. I've instead of been watching like rewatching podcasts I've already listened to. I'm being real dumb. Um, the reason I brought up Persona is because everyone had Persona 6 has been like like people have been waiting for it about as long as Warper Rising. Um,
The
and
one
the
person that
constant
stole Persona 6.
exactly the constant speculation is what fucking color is the game gonna be because Persona 5 is red, Persona 4
Yeah.
is yellow, Persona 3 is blue. The older Personas didn't have a really strong color motif. So what is it gonna
God.
be? People think it's gonna be green. They're like, what's it gonna be though? Like, what is it gonna be?
Green would be cool. That art
Green
style
would be
with green.
cool.
That would be crazy. That would really
Persona
go
5
hard.
is so fucking red. It's like unbelievable. It's like
It's
blasting
so
red at all
cool.
times. It is very cool.
It's really good. It's good art. I like simplicity. Makes me smile.
I'm glad.
Well, Sam, speaking of
Mallory.
simplicity, I'd like to delve back into something that's going to be a real simple layup for this podcast because we've already discussed its predecessors at great length. Season 3, Part 1 of
We're
Beastar's
going
final.
straight back into
season,
Beastars? Are we
part
an
1.
anime podcast?
Well, Sam, is interesting. Like we've really just like put all of our chips on Madoka and Beastars in this.
And the
like,
views
first...
are rolling in. They're not.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Our podcast on Beastar Season 2 Part 1 will end up releasing on March 6th. And on March 7th,
Season
3
3
part 2 will come out. So, and then Beastars will be wrapped up.
Okay.
I know a little bit of spoilers about like the overall series from like the manga, but like yeah, it's like it has a definitive end, and this will be the end when it comes out. So we'll
be on an equal playing field for like one episode. That's cool.
Yeah, we'll be cleansed from Beastars, and we won't have to talk about furry stuff ever again. So then we're moving on. So yeah, that is what I would like to watch this week. Even though I would have loved to space it out a little bit more. It's good to keep it fresh in the mind, especially season 2. I to me, season 2 is my favorite. Season 3 part 1, not my favorite, but we'll let you look up to your own conclusions. But
we'll get into it.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back in the world, and also to wear my like rabbit ears again. I'm doing a different Madoka. Oh, that's the big. All you commenters who I'm surely have made it to the end of this podcast. If you want to guess which of the Madoka characters I'm going to try and dress as in the next one, there you go. Because I've done Homura
in the
Madoka.
Beastars episode. What does that mean?
No. When like Bumper Snatch releases.
Mallory's gonna surgically remove half of her head so she can be the Homura witch design.
Like
also very cool. There's one shot where they show regular Homura with half her head gone, and it's really creepy. Anyway,
I like it. It's bad and good. I like that part. I agree.
I do too. More sinister, creepy stuff in movie 4.
Yeah, but no, Beastars. The point I was making about Beastars is I'm just only ever gonna be the rabbit because I bought those bunnies.
Does she get to do anything in season 3? I don't know yet, but I hope so because she's MIA in season 2.
She'll be with us in spirit.
I see. Unfortunate.
We'll hold her close to our hearts. Well, Sam.
Well, Mallory.
It's your podcast and you're hosting it again.
Well, Mallory, as the host, as I am every other week, have a good evening. This has been fun.
Have a great rest of your day, Sam, and don't let the Wumper Snatch catch you.